Welcome to 2 More Than 98, where we talk about anything and everybody with no judgment, with different lenses.
About what could or should be said or done.
I am your host, Fly Rod, and to my right, we have
Mrs. Ajax.
And to the farthest right, we have the one and only
Ajax. Let's go.
Let's go. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Haiti.
Of course. Today's Haitian Flag Day, so we represent all day.
All day.
C'est qu'à fête.
What hold it. I just said it.
Oh my God.
Sock by
What the?
Hey yo, chill, man.
And you gonna say
I'm
you gotta
learning
say
some
it,
things. Listen, I'm learning some things. He really supposed to be teaching me
You can't even say
Creole.
the damn language.
First of all, he's been supposed to be teaching me Creole. But that's another thing. He's supposed to be calling me say a word here and there or a sentence, really more so a sentence.
So I gotta chase you to teach you?
Nah, you got my number.
So what that mean?
See this?
Bruh.
You see this?
Anyway, so on Haitian Flag Day, of course, we got the flag back there.
That's
I even got my Haitian mask, traveling these streets and just representing, man, because Haiti plays a big part in what a lot of countries' independence developed.
And even the revolt on the plantations in America.
Yeah.
The Haitians that was all in Louisiana, and they went into some Indian settlements. Slaves would escape the plantation and they'd go, and some of our Haitian brothers and sisters that help us escape from the plantations and get inside different settlements that the Indians, reservations and stuff that was at. You know what I'm saying? So
I can't remember all the countries by heart, but any Spanish country that you see in South America that has red and blue in their flag, just know that it's because of what Haiti contributed to their independence and fights and stuff like that. So do your research, find out where Haiti stands and where Haiti stood and still stands. Just like you mentioned, Louisiana, we were the reason for the Louisiana Purchase.
That's right. 100%. A lot of them cities and towns have French names.
And they have Creole,
of course.
What you gonna call that? Creole what?
Gotta know
influences.
Your history. In other words, we saying do your research. You gotta know your history, and pretty much we all tied in some type of way, right?
Of course. Tuskegee Airmen had 4 Haitian men.
That's right.
As pilots.
That's right.
I think one of them is still alive to this day, but he's the last remaining Haitian pilot.
That's right.
If you get a chance, man, go to the Museum of African American History.
That's right.
Yeah.
In DC. They have a whole section dedicated to Haiti and the letters that were exchanged between generals and the help that they required and was given. And you can see how much Haiti plays a part, as much as they like to deny it. But for those that know.
100%. 100%.
Right?
Yes, sir. So what's up? What you got for me?
Ooh.
So we got some spicy topics.
We got some spicy topics. So let me ask you a question. There's been talks about Biden saying something as far as voting and whatever. So if you vote for Trump, you're not black. What do you think about that?
Are we gonna start with me?
I mean, it doesn't. I'm just.
Start. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I'm not surprised that he would say something like that.
Speak on
I
it.
think it's foolish.
What is?
The comment itself.
Okay.
What have he done to earn the black vote? Biden himself.
Is it because he was vice president to
Obama,
the black president?
100%. So that's what he feel as though that in other words, he feel entitled.
But what is the meaning of earning the black vote?
Well,
What does that look like?
well, earning the black vote. Now, I'm glad you asked that question. Earning the black vote is doing something for black people.
Okay.
Right? And when I say that, for instance, most, like when Obama was coming in office, right? Mm-hmm. He promised everybody things. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, or even the Jewish people, and,
politicians,
everything. But when he got the black people, and a lot of times in my barbershop, we used to always talk. I'm like, what did he promise black people?
Yeah.
Even though because he was one of us, he's a black man, we didn't care.
Right.
I'm going to vote for you. Cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, a Biden don't get that. Saying mind you, I don't agree with just because you're black, I'm going to vote for you.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that. But that's what we did. We not here to talk about. And Obama was probably the best president that America could ever have. Really, in reality, in other words, he's a clean black man. He didn't have no shenanigans. In other words,
no scandals.
No scandals. That's what I mean about that. First of all, his wife, Michelle Obama, a beautiful, strong black sister.
But don't you think, yes, those are all great things, but they're like superficial, right?
100%. But I'm mindful about how I talk about Obama because our people love Obama. So, and the reason, and so they have a blind, because he's a black man and they never thought that they would see a black man in office, they have blinders on. It doesn't matter what he has done, no matter anything. It's because he's a black man. He was the president of the United States. They running with it.
I'm just saying, he at the same time, I think he thoroughly represented himself to me. Do you know like how much opposition
he was facing
like on a daily basis to do? They freely express themselves right now, right, in the Trump era. Those politicians that just blatantly say whatever they want, they know it's insensitive, they know it's like wrong, right, but they have a battery on their back right now, right? They still had those feelings when he was president,
of course.
Except, like, you have to imagine understanding that 90% of the people you are working with have some type of bias about you.
True.
So it's not even about the work. It's not, I have to bypass and learn how to maneuver with each of these people to get some of my things that I'm trying to do. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like everybody else, right? Every incoming president just has this kind of path. You do have, you have party issues. You have, I'm a Republican, you're a Democrat. Yes.
I'm a conservative, I'm whatever. A liberal. Yeah, right?
Given that, I feel like prior to Obama, when a white candidate won, whether they were Republican or Democrat, right? The losing party would bow out respectfully. Like, damn, cool, you guys got this, right? I'm not going to agree with you on everything, right? But I'm not going to try to make it impossible for you. I feel like once Obama
they made everything impossible.
They were like, not only am I not happy, I'm going to try to make sure that anything that you do
or try to do,
like, you're gonna meet with so much opposition solely based, because if Obama were a Caucasian male, mid-30s, same profile, but had those features like the blonde, brown hair or whatever, blue eyes, black, whatever, right? He would be like, so much more people would love him, right? They'd be
he would have been like a young Kennedy.
Yeah, like, you know how they idolize Kennedy now? That's what it would have been. It literally would have been that, because he presented himself so well. His family, his coming from the Bush era, like to be able to have someone articulate themselves, it's not even about that. It's about he was able to command a room, not by force. Like,
Well,
just
are you surprised?
It's not my point. My point is that whether you believe like, oh, now everybody was like, oh, Brown didn't do anything for black people. Okay, I don't even know what he was supposed to do, right? I feel like regardless of anything, you should, because right now you have this whole movement of black people who are like Obama did nothing for black communities. He did nothing. He did nothing, or whatever. Like,
well, we've been started. I would like to say, not to cut your wisdom.
Did he say cut my wisdom?
Yeah,
Even though he did.
No, it's not that.
I don't mean to cut your wisdom. No,
Why?
I'm sorry. Pardon me. That's what you say when you interrupt someone or when you cut someone off. You say pardon me.
It's to soften the blow.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut your wisdom.
No, but it's like not necessary.
Yeah. Nah, but I to reel it back to the question. With all what you said, a Biden don't get that type of pass.
Like he went right back into it.
No,
right.
it's the truth. Okay, he don't get that type of pass. He ain't one of us. When black people, oh, that's Uncle Biden because Obama was
Who's calling him Uncle Biden?
That's what they was calling him.
Yeah,
I never
Uncle
called
Joe. They was calling him Uncle Joe.
Man, I ain't never called that.
Just because Obama cool with you, you know how black people do. Listen, I don't care that they let a couple M&Ms in the hood. You know what I mean? He get the pass. No, sir. You don't get that type. We didn't forget what you've done.
Right.
We didn't forget about how you pushed the Clintons with that policies and the policies that you wrote.
That 3 strike.
The Clintons wasn't the mastermind behind the policies.
Right.
You was the mastermind behind the policies.
You were part of the writers that wrote that declaration.
100%. And you pushed it wasn't before Hillary said super predators. It was you who said super predator. Oh, we got all the documents and the videos.
We're not making this up. You could look up. You could look up the tapes.
We didn't forget.
Right.
You thought that you was gonna have this little pass because Obama had you as vice president, and then you thought that you're gonna be able to come. No, sir. You don't get that type of pass.
He made that statement essentially saying, the way, basically saying, okay, so you have Trump and then you have me, and some people will say Trump has blatantly shown his racism, his prejudice, like you know what I mean. He's not shy about it,
Right.
And then on top of it, like he's just those, KKK and, people just came out the woodwork, right? So it's just basically saying this guy represents a form of oppression, right?
Right.
Why would you, choose him
over me who privately chose oppression over you? So, look. Oh, Trump was what they say covertly and overtly.
That's a good one.
Right.
Trump just listen, I agree with you. I respect a person who says, listen, I just don't like you.
Okay.
Then someone who gonna say, Miss Ajax, how you doing? Just smiling on your face, even go to lunch with you, buy you some Starbucks, and then y'all go back to work, and then she's behind or he behind talking to the boss to get you fired.
Right.
So some people be like, well, I seen this. Black people would make excuses. Well, I seen at least Joe Biden apologize. Trump never apologized for anything.
I think
that's one.
Go ahead.
And two, our favorite quote. You gotta pick the lesser of two evils. That's our favorite quote as a people. We've been saying that.
But we really don't have that choice, though.
But we've been saying that since the plantation. That comes from the plantation when they say, "Well, this master beat you worse than this master."
So I'm gonna go with the.
So I'm gonna go with the let's beat. That's where it started from, though.
Right.
So and then it just translated.
Right.
So now we're all voting to pick a master to rule us. So at the end of the, I don't pick none of the evils. I don't pick.
So you don't vote?
No, I don't vote. I'm
Right.
an independent, and because
No. Yeah.
and the reason being is
But
because
do you vote?
No, I don't vote. I don't. The reason why I don't vote is because we're independent, and I believe I have my own. And then two, not only just believing I have my own, it's like Malcolm X is another one who didn't vote, and he's very political, and if you understood politics,
Right.
and while saying why would I pick a slave master to rule me? And one thing I also do know, we learn, and I always bring it back. We always bring back things to the basic form. Everyone forgot about social studies. What you learn in social studies, they said presidents they are representatives of people who are behind the scenes who actually runs the country.
Right.
The president doesn't run the country. He presents. That's why the root word is present. He presents whatever.
He's the manager.
He's the manager. He is the manager of whatever big business or major companies.
While the CEOs are in the back.
100%. So they played the game of who they want to be running in the whole 9 yards.
But so essentially, you don't believe in government.
I don't. No,
But
it's not, I don't believe in this government.
No, but you exist.
But it would all be the same
Yeah, I
thing,
do.
though.
No, you exist within this society.
A nation within a nation. You're right.
I don't know if it's a nation within a nation. What is the secondary nation?
Well, the nation of Islam.
Right. A religion. Right. And that's totally fine. But it's a religion. It's not a nation within it's a way of being and understanding your existence with the world, right? But that's a religion, right? It's a state of mind, right?
And this is a state, not just a state of mind. We have our own government. We have our own everything. It's a nation within a nation. So in America, we are allowed to. In America, you're allowed to have nations within a nation because everything is about business and company. So we represent.
No,
and we
I get
have our own.
I get that. But like, you don't live like. So it's not like Native American reservations or how like the Vatican, right? The Vatican is in Italy, right? But it's its own governing body, right? And then you have the Italian governing body. So if the Vatican wants, there are certain limitations like that the police have out, like they can't just storm in.
And you could do that in your community. You can do that in, in other words, what we do in the Nation of Islam. Like I'm gonna give you prime example in Plainfield, right? Because that's where I'm at.
Right.
If a brother was stopped by the police,
right?
And this is called, because you don't need it. I'm glad that you brought that up. More so, for instance, you have Allentown, New Jersey police or Lakewood police, and then you have the Jewish Lakewood police. So when the Lakewood police officers stop a Jewish man, they get on their parole, what's the name, and they call the Jewish Lakewood police, and they come and deal with
it's like a different jurisdiction within the jurisdiction.
Within the jurisdiction. You don't need to be outside of America to have that. You can have that directly in America. But it's called having unity. When you have unity, you have influence in the town or that city or that state, right? Or that county. You are afforded with the same thing that, as you were saying, in the Vatican.
It's kind of like a union.
It is. Well, everything is about. America is about unions. So we have a union in Chicago, New Jersey, and pretty much California and the whole nine yards.
I get all of that, right? That's fine, but at the same time, you still have to coexist in this community, right? With other people who are not part of the Nation of Islam, right? So you don't live in an isolated community, with just the Nation of Islam. Like, just like a...
Not all of us. Some of us do, but not all of us.
No, it's not isolated. Like, it's not like you don't, like, completely govern everything. Like,
I got you.
I'm your neighbor, you're my neighbor, but I'm not
That's
Nation
right.
of Islam. Right. So, what I'm saying is, because of that, I know you don't vote, but that's the challenging part, because you don't live in an island. You live next to me.
That's right.
And I'm not part of the Nation of Islam, but we live in this community together. So when a sheriff gets voted in, right? I'm going to just bring it down to local voting. And like, I look into him and he's the fucking worst in terms of his policies, right? Because regardless of like certain things, there are certain policies that are just fucked up for everybody, but benefit some people. Right. And I know that. And I know this other person, like, his policies aren't perfect, right? Because he has his own biases. But I know that motherfucker, that policy, on a human level, is just fucked up. It don't matter race or anything, right? I'm going to go vote for the other person, right? So now he becomes sheriff, but he's a part of our community, right? He is the one watching over our community. So my whole thing is, I get it in terms of, and I completely understand, it's really complex. Like, being a black person
in America is
very complex.
Can I say this to you?
Hold on. It's very complex. However, I feel like there are some adjustments that we need to learn to make as a people, right? Like, I don't know that saying, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, essentially, that's what we do. And it's like, yeah, I get the anger and the resentment and just the like, at the same time, when you don't have the ability to literally live upon an island of your own, where you have a shared mission. It's not like just you benefit and I benefit. The way you express about the Nation of Islam, for you, it's like everybody prospers, right? And that's great. That would be lovely for you to live on that island, but you don't, right? You live in this community.
Right. But let me say something though.
I just want to say this one thing. I'm sorry. I just want to say this one thing.
Drag you guys.
No, listen.
God, I did not.
I was about to say, listen. No, listen. No. What I was about to say is this. If it wouldn't matter who's the sheriff, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
If you have the people, it doesn't matter who's in office. If you're a mayor and you want to get things done and you want stuff done, you still need the people. Right. But if the people influence is by the nation, and if we went out and they say, yeah, you know what, we want to I'm doing something stupid, right? No one could park in the city of Plainfield on the street. Everybody had to without a permit.
Right.
And then we go, you know what, that's unfair. And then we got the people, and what you think the mayor is going to do?
I know, I understand that.
They're gonna back up what the people have been saying.
We didn't need. The thing about it is, and each city is different, and certain territories is different, where we got more of an influence. But trust me, there's many major cities and big cities that things don't get moved without them having to incorporate the local minister of that city.
Okay, but check this out. Check this out. No matter how much the people scream and shout, right?
No, we ain't talking about scream and shout.
No, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
When we speak up, right? There's always two facades to things. They give you what you thought you wanted, and then they still have their own agenda. So it doesn't matter. Like, they might say, okay, bet. We need a parking permit to park right here. This what you guys want? Cool. But y'all gonna pay a hell of money for these parking permits. Now to make it impossible, right? So what you wanted is right there, but you can't attain it. Right? So right now, we're still living in what I would like to call a traditional Stockholm
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. We may not do it precisely as it is, but it's been transcending for a very long time that we don't even realize we're doing it. Because now we're used to a country that if you did something fucked up and you apologize for it, all right, man, go ahead.
For everybody?
Huh?
For everybody?
The whole nation's accepting the apology. Because when somebody fucks up, these politicians gets on TV and whatever, they do something, they did something in the past. You know what? It was a difficult time. Blah blah blah. I apologize. They're so happy to tell you, oh, you know what? He came on. He was apologetic. You know, he was, you know, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, they make you feel sad for this person.
That's right.
Right? And all of a sudden, this person got your vote again.
Go
so
point.
It still comes back down to, no matter what, we are still going to vote for the lesser of the two evils. Therefore, you either have a choice. You either have a choice of voting for Trump or you vote for Biden. And what's going to happen is that nobody wants Trump. So guess what you're going to do? It's either you don't vote or you vote for Biden.
That's right. So now listen, let me say this to you. But you said, but the thing about it is, first of all, Trump never won the popular votes in the first place. He lost.
It didn't matter.
And
if I say your votes don't matter, then guess what? That turns into this whole topsy-turvy.
But this is my point. The point is, he didn't win the popular vote in the first place.
He won a popular vote. Listen, popular vote.
Listen. No, he lost to Hillary.
He won the electoral vote.
That's but black people don't determine electoral the super delegates.
Right.
So the point of the matter is, in social studies, see, we all forget. See, I like to go right back how the government is ran. We was taught, all of us, no one skipped social study unless you wasn't paying attention.
No, nobody realized social studies, and that's how they get you.
But in social studies, they said George Washington and them, they didn't trust the people anyway.
Right.
So they made loopholes. If the popular vote didn't go into their way, who they wanted in office, then they had a way of putting that person in office without it being a popular vote. Right. So if it's the popular vote,
didn't Obama win the second term by popular vote?
Yeah, but that was different. Yeah, because that man moved.
No, he won popular votes. He won the popular votes both times. But when they say that he won by a landslide, he didn't win the popular votes by a landslide.
No, not the first one, but he won by a landslide the first time.
But no, not by popular votes. You know what that was about? When they say that? He won by a landslide because of the electoral college.
Right.
So now we need to ask the question, well, why would all these white folks want him in office? Because the electoral college ain't nobody black. They don't look like me and you. It's none of them. So when they say he won by a landslide, they talking about the electoral college.
Right.
Now, Trump, I'm going back to Trump. Trump lost to Hillary by like 3 million votes. Talking about popular. But he won the electoral college. So it didn't matter that you went out, stood in line, and voted for him. Your vote, does it count? They proved to you that it don't count. Look at George Bush. He didn't. Remember they did the recount in Florida, the whole 9 yards.
Right. I feel like I want to remember that.
He lost.
Yeah.
But he won by the electoral college, and they rigged it. They actually rigged it, and they forced him.
Don't forget, he had his brother down in Florida.
That's what it was in Florida.
No, I don't think it's that simple.
What you mean?
What you just explained.
Well, what do you mean? Well, you got to break things down to the simplest form.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's not that black and white in terms of what determines the presidency in terms of electoral and popular vote.
Yes,
I understand. No, I know what you're talking about, but it's not. But I can't think about it right now.
All right. I think that's enough politics for now.
I can't think about it right now. You guys.
But just to end my point with the question of what you asked. I don't rock with neither one of them. That's first of all.
So here's the question: Are you gonna vote?
No, he says he doesn't
we don't vote.
Are you gonna vote?
We in the nation don't vote.
Even though it feels like it may not matter.
No, I don't believe that. Right now I can't process.
Okay.
And trying to break it down.
Are you gonna vote? I don't know.
Oh my God, Gene, please say yes. You're gonna vote because you.
I can't just say yes. It's just I'm tired of voting for the less of the two evils.
Oh my God, baby, you're gonna vote. Stop.
I don't know, but anyway, I wanna kind of ask a question about a conversation I kind of overheard, and it always seems that way that I hear things and it always falls into a relationship thing. But I think usually topics like this bring good discussions, right? So I know you're a brother from Nation of Islam, right? Mm-hmm. So
now hold up.
Are you gonna be
Now, mind you, I'm sorry. I just had to say this just to end it. This is it says
what's happening?
Are we going back
presidential elections use the electoral college. To win the election, a candidate must receive a majority of the electoral votes. That's what determines the president, not popular vote.
But the popular votes somehow have an impact on the electoral vote.
No, it doesn't. They don't have to. They don't. The electoral. What it is. I'm sorry, sis. What it is.
Are we doing this right now?
What this? I just want to end this. I'm sorry. The electoral. The people who had the electoral colleagues. They see. Off of good faith. They supposed. We're not supposed to. They can be swayed, or I should say, because they see that the people of their state wants this particular president or this person to be elected, they can go there, but they're not obligated.
No, they're not obligated. But that's all politics. I'm not obligated to vote Democrat. I'm not obligated to vote Republican.
Yeah, but do you think those people who make the decisions?
No, I know.
Sway by do you think they sway by
like Denzel Washington deja vu? All right.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so we could get back to that another time. We'll get back to that another time.
No, we're not. No, we're not. This is not a political podcast.
So no, it's not. But of course. But some people don't understand. No, but some people really don't understand.
They need to go there and do their own research, because you know what happens? We can't educate them in one podcast.
No, you can't.
This goes far back than what we can tell them, and as far back as they can read. So with that being said,
that's right.
You're gonna pick the best of the two evils anyway.
So. I just said that on the show. I was looking at all this because I said, man, listen, go pick the lesser two evils like you plan on doing without having excuses. And that's what you're gonna do in the first place. Don't try to be like, well, make an excuse to vote for Biden. I know you're gonna vote for him.
Just pick the one that's gonna beat you less. That's it. Anyway. So I heard somebody talking. Like I was saying before. And one person's lifestyle, like I mentioned, that you are from
the nation.
And it was very interesting to me that somebody was opposed to somebody's lifestyle when that lifestyle is not really a lifestyle, it's really their livelihood in some ways and support system, whatever. So the question was, is having two wives normal or is it a fantasy?
How did that come?
I told you it's a conversation that
this threw me off. I wasn't even prepared for this. I'm listening. I wasn't even prepared for this.
Again, is having two wives normal? Can it be thought as something normal or is it a fantasy?
First of all, let me say this. In the Nation of Islam, we don't practice currently polygyny. That's what you're
Polygamy?
No, definitely not. Polygamy means either or. The woman can have multiple
what's the word
husbands.
You just said?
Polygyny. Polygyny is the orthodox way of practicing what we say polygamy, right? Which is it's not a religion thing. It's an African centric way of living, which is a man having multiple wives. Right. So that's polygyny. Okay. Polygamy is it can go either way. The woman can have multiple, and I think they call that polyandry.
Polyamorous relationships?
Yeah, I think it could be that. I don't know the name. But
when I was about to say, you surprise me every time. Listen.
No, I think it's called polyandry, something like that. Polyandry or something like that, right?
I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Yeah, it's called polyandry or something. That's when a woman can have multiple husbands, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
I guess.
So now polygamy is like when you say polygamy, it could be either way. It could be a
So
woman.
wait, what does? I'm sorry, I get it. So what does the Nation of Islam not do?
We don't practice having multiple wives.
Okay.
Currently.
Not anymore.
No, we don't.
You never
practice. We don't. We had a rule. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad set a rule. We're not practicing that. Reason being is because one, it's a. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's a process. Men, I think the conversation that we was talking, let alone you can't handle one wife, let alone trying to handle multiple wives.
That depends on
Why
the
can't
character.
When I say that, it's
Wait,
because,
she just answered. Why can't you handle one wife?
Because most of us you have some men that are mature enough that can probably deal with multiple wives.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But we talking about, when you start bringing a rule out, or you're allowing someone to do something, you open up the floodgates for people who aren't mature enough to handle it, and it can mess up everything. And a successful nation is ran by families, and you have to keep family at the forefront. You got to learn you got to remember, we fresh out of slavery. Like slavery, the last illegal plantation was 1955 in America. The last illegal plantation. So we haven't been a family for over 400 years. We got to learn how to deal with our woman. Our woman need to learn how to deal with us. We got to break generational curses. It's a whole lot of things that goes into that.
But some things are just innate to us. Just like African, we were taken away from our tribes where we had multiple wives, and you know what? That's something that's embedded.
Isn't that a generalization though?
It's not a generalization. It's still happening now.
What you're saying, you'll let me know. Mm-hmm. Is that not a generalization of a whole population? Because
what you mean? What do you mean by that?
In terms of the black race.
No, us. I mean they in Africa they doing just fine. In the East, I'm sorry, not just in Africa. In the Eastern Hemisphere period, they doing just fine practicing polygamy. Right. Without having the problem is when white people, when Western influence come into play, changes a lot.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not making a
just like
pro or Jesus. Con. Yeah. Is that you don't believe in that practice solely because you feel...
I didn't say I don't believe in the practice.
Not you, the Nation of Islam.
No, I never said we don't believe in the practice. You said,
I
said we don't practice it.
But if you don't practice it, then you don't practice it.
That don't mean that we don't believe in it.
No, okay, you're right. Okay. You don't practice it because...
Because we're not mature enough.
You, in terms of... it would have to be just, I guess, solely African Americans. Yeah,
we're talking about in the nation.
Well, if I'm in the nation and I come from, we said the Nation of Islam.
When you say the nation, if you are a member in the Nation of Islam,
okay. So
that means you're a part of the organization.
Right. So let's say I come from Sudan, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm drawn to the Nation of Islam, right? Mm-hmm. No, Ethiopians. Let's say I'm Ethiopian and I'm drawn to the Nation of Islam. And then I joined, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't apply to me.
Why doesn't it?
I'm not African American.
That doesn't.
No. Let me just I didn't experience the what happened after slavery and all of that, the oppression, the systemic racism. I'm from Ethiopia. You know what I mean? I come with my own values, right?
And then you join the Nation of Islam.
But you're saying
that you're Ethiopian, you have 2 or 3 wives.
No. I feel like...
Or you believe in that culture.
No, what I'm saying...
If
you have a belief system, you have a belief system.
But when you...
I understand. Give me 1 second. If you have a belief system, you have a belief system. Mm-hmm. You can't say we're going to take a break on this belief real quick. Because, we believe it. No, you can't say that I'm going to take a break, as a whole... It's like when you get those general emails when you work in corporate America because Bob had a bad night. Mm-hmm. So now we all have to adjust. Mm-hmm. So it's like...
Well, this is the best way I'm going to explain that.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that.
This is the best way I'm going to explain that. I mean, right now, I'm in your house.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you don't edit all of this. Don't be putting my business.
What are you talking about right now?
Listen, right now I'm in your house. Y'all have a set of rules.
Right.
When I come
And
in,
one of them is stop bulldozing my wife.
Bulldozing me.
See
You
this?
can't bulldoze.
You see this? See this? I think I'm gonna be doing. I think this is gonna be our signature. Yo. So look,
You don't need this shit right now.
listen. I'm in your house. Y'all have a set of rules.
Right.
When I come in your house, I can't do what I want to do.
Right.
I have to follow the rules in your house.
Right.
If I didn't like the rules of your house, guess what I could do?
Get the fuck
I
out.
can leave.
Right.
But as long as I'm joining, if y'all have a business and y'all are organized business, and when I join your organized business, I
Right.
follow the rules.
The
of
rules,
your organized business.
Right.
I didn't start the organized business. I like what you guys represent, and I like how as a whole what y'all doing, and I think it's good for our people. So I join.
So that's your analogy in terms of
Another word,
the Nation of Islam.
So when another word, for instance, we accept everybody to come into the. When I say accept all of our people to come into the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you had a set of values and you had a set of things, pros and cons that you was doing prior to coming to the nation, right?
Wait, can you just give me some clarification just based on
I'm
what you're
listening.
saying? The Nation of Islam, it's not a religion then. Is it a set of belief systems? Because the way you describe
the Nation of Islam is a government, put like that. And it has a religion.
It's a nation within the nation.
It has a religion. It has a religion. Within the Nation of Islam. It has a military. It has education. Everything that a nation provides, the Nation of Islam provides.
I mean, we're not trying to break down the whole Nation of Islam. It's just basically trying to understand.
Because I understand
the
having
minute
two
that wives.
Listen, no, I got
multiple
you.
wives?
Yeah. So, but I listen.
Things keep going.
Listen.
I get it, but at the same time,
So to
can we
answer your
the
question,
freaking
yeah, because I mean, sis be going
is
deep in
having
the
2
question.
wives normal? Is it a fantasy?
But listen, now is it a fantasy? No, technically, it's not a fantasy.
For some, it may be.
Yeah, some who don't know how to. Now I'm speaking on a broader statement now, not the Nation of Islam. We just talking about the practice in general, right? So is it a fantasy? It's not a fantasy. One, I don't wish it on no man. That's I don't, because really, but I can say a man that do know how to handle a multiple relationships. That's a man that I allow run my business. I will go into business with that man, because that is one of the hard to be, especially being born over here, where your parents don't believe in it, her parents, both parents don't believe in it, right? Everybody parents, you're the medium person. So now in the beginning, everybody looking at you shady, like you got my daughter doing X, Y, and Z, the whole your mom looking at you crazy. So for you to manage all these relationships
and still keep your sanity,
and still provide, your children you producing children and they growing up in an environment
and
where
still be grounded.
Man, listen, that's a man. That's first of all, and that's a mature man, and that is not everybody. And the reason I'm going.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I just need to give you 2 minutes because we're running out of time, and I just want to make sure that.
I was going deep.
No, he was going in, and we have to do a
question?
part 2 of this.
That's right.
What was the question?
Is having 2 wives normal, or can it be considered normal, or is it a fantasy?
I think it depends on
Mrs. Ajax, you got the table.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay, I think it depends on the family, the individual, right? I understand what you're saying in terms of like the person having to manage that, but there are people that have such a strong sense of self and such confidence about it that they go to their parents like, I love you, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but this is who I am. This is what I am. And like, I hope you'll accept it, but if you don't, like, I'm not going to stop being myself. Right? And so they're happy. They do have polyamorous relationships and they're managing and they're raising great kids. Right? I think it all depends on the individuals involved.
That 100%.
So it's not about a fantasy. Like, this is not a cookie cutter situation. Different things work for different people.
For sure.
Okay, so a quick question. So, if in the beginning of our relationship, I had said that I wanted to.
Oh, now y'all see what we just.
I don't need this shit right now. but you know, we I've talked about this from the beginning of time and whatever. But what would you have said if I told you that at part of my life I would like to have 2 wives? What would have been your response? Would we have been together or what?
The thing is, here's the thing. I think there takes a sense of maturity for that. When we met, I was very young. I was 21.
So I should have taken advantage of that.
You're 28 now, right?
You see what's going on there?
So I just feel like when we met, I was very young. Like, you can't present that to like a 22-year-old. Like, I don't want to generalize. Most 22-year-olds who's like in love with that one person, and then you're like, you know, you are like enamored with that one person, and then they're like, yo, real quick, I have an idea. I want to bring someone else into this relationship. Like, the first thing she's gonna think about is like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Then no, she's gonna be jealous. It's gonna be what you're talking about. Like, you know, it doesn't work.
So back then you would have been jealous, but how about right now?
I'm about to say, it doesn't matter the age.
No, but
no, I should say
there's a level of maturity.
Maturity does go in, but let me say this. It's always in the beginning is never
in the beginning.
First of all, the hardest one is the one who was with you the longest.
Right.
That's the one. Everyone else don't see the other wives. If you had more than 2, but the other wives, it's easy for them.
Right.
It's not. I shouldn't say no.
The second wife.
I shouldn't even say it's easy for them. It's just easier for you to get them to accept it. Right. But it's not easy. I'm not gonna say it's easier on them.
Thing is,
because everybody got their own.
So with that being said, look. Wait, cut. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of this because this is very interesting. And I'm your host Ajax.
I'm your host Flower.
And this is our guest, Mrs. Ajax. 2 more than 98.
You heard? We'll holla.